Well, it looks like snow is back on the menu for tonight and tomorrow. At least it is here for us in Pennsylvania. And I'm hoping for another snow day. But what could be better for a snowy day than homemade French onion soup, complete with crusty French bread and bubbly melted Swiss and Gruyere cheese? Nothing can be as good as that because French onion soup rocks. So don't wait for the next blip on the Storm Chaser website calling for snow to run out and get the ingredients to make this beautiful soup. Instead, put the ingredients in your shopping list right now, and after you make it, be sure to come back and leave me a comment below and let me know how much you loved it, because this is the best recipe ever. To begin, you're going to need 4 cups of peeled and sliced onions. I like to peel my onions and then I run them under cold water just for a moment. I find that it makes it a little bit easier on your eyes. They don't burn as much this way. And then I'm going to slice them. Now, I slice them 2 different ways, stem to root, and then the opposite way, which kind of is like a little rainbow, which you'll see in a moment. But you're also going to take a big soup pot, and I put in 2 tablespoons of butter and then a drizzle of olive oil. And I'm going to put that on my stove on low and let that start to melt. And as I cut my onions, I'm going to toss them in there. So this is the second way I slice it, which is not from root to stem, but like starting on that side, if that makes any sense, starting at the root. And you can see how it looks like a little rainbow? That's the other way. So I do some of each way. It's just like variety. I break them up with my fingers, toss them in the pot, and then I put the lid on and I cook them on low. I like to use a wooden spoon or a spatula, and I'm going to stir them and make sure that they're broken up, which means pieces aren't stuck together in a clump. We want them to cook evenly. And I'm going to mix them up good, put the lid on and cook them, and you're going to see that the moisture is going to come out. They're starting to get soft, and I'm going to cook them until they are translucent. You want to make sure that you're cooking them on low. You do not want them to burn. Then I'll add about a half a teaspoon of sugar and stir that in, and that's going to help them to caramelize and get a nice golden color. So again, I'll put the lid on and allow them to cook until they are completely translucent and caramelized. Then I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to stir that in, and then I'm going to add 2 heaping tablespoons of flour, and I'm going to mix those in with my wooden spoon, and I have my beef stock ready. I have beef broth. Now this is a 32-ounce container, and I'm going to put 2 1/2 containers in. So 32 ounce, and about a half of the third one. I'm only going to put about 1 cup of beef broth in to start, and I'm going to slowly stir that in, because if you put all the beef broth in at one time, you're going to have kind of clumps of onion that are coated with flour, and it's going to get kind of lumpy. So you don't want to do that. You want to add just about a cup in at a time to start. Mix it up until it's well combined, and then you can add the rest of your beef broth in. Now, I like to use containers, like I said, 32-ounce containers of beef broth, but you can also use cans of consommé. When I first started making French onion soup, when I was a teenager, I used to use the cans of beef consommé, like 4 cans with 4 cans of water, and I found that I much prefer to use the beef broth. And you're going to use some white wine. You can use regular white wine, or you can use white cooking wine. And I put about 3/4 of a cup in. I'm going to stir that in, and then I'm going to put it on my stove. I'm going to start to bring it to a simmer, and I'm just going to let it cook down. I don't bring it to any kind of rolling boil or anything like that, just a nice slow simmer, and every once in a while I'll give it a stir. I'll put a little bit of fresh ground pepper in there. That's to your taste. If you're a fan, add it. If not, then don't. And you want to make sure that you taste it before you add any more salt, because sometimes your beef stock can be salty. So I made some fresh baguettes with my soup, and I will link that video above and below, but you can use a store-bought if you like. And the way that we assemble this is we put some of the soup in a little crock or a little bowl and put the bread slices on top. I usually do 3. Some people like to tear it up like a crouton. And then I have some finely shredded Swiss and Gruyere cheese, and I mix those together in a container, and I'm going to put some of that on top, about a half a cup. I'm generous with it, and I put it under the broiler for 4 or 5 minutes. You want to watch it, make sure it doesn't burn. Use pot holders to remove it from the oven, and there you go. How great is that for a snow day? I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope that you try it out. It's really great. If you do, make sure you leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you soon with a new video. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys.